What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Comic Breakdown. In this video, we are jumping into Blue Beetle Graduation Day, issue number 1. This will be a 6-part limited series following Jaime Reyes. And Reyes has had a lot on his plate, whether it be his finals for senior year of high school or a new villain tearing up El Paso, Texas. Jaime finds himself always torn between two worlds, but now those worlds, they are about to come down on him. They are about to meet in one place as he fights new and old villains alike. We are gonna see what is in store for Jaime over the course of this limited series. And if you are brand new to Blue Beetle, this isn't necessarily the worst place to jump into this story. If you want a little introduction, if you want to understand his powers, you want to understand his abilities, I highly recommend that you go ahead and you check this out. Now, be sure to subscribe to the channel, make sure that you like this video, and with that being said, let's dive into this breakdown. Alright gang, so as we dive into this issue number 1, we are picking up with Blue Beetle. While it may look like he is going through a lot, this is not the first time Blue Beetle has gone face to face with somebody in El Paso. A superhero, an alien hybrid, a teenager. He is currently facing off against a new villain known as Fadeaway. As we get a very quick backstory, a mystical scarab had fell from the sky. It fused itself to Jaime's back permanently. Ever since that, they've been facing off space invasions and evil wizards. You name it, they have done it. And though his win-loss record could definitely be better, that never stops him from trying. He has been trying to track down Fadeaway for weeks. And I believe that Fadeaway uses they/them pronouns. I can never tell when we're talking about reading, because when you are reading they/them, you assume that it is a group of people, that it is multiple individuals. Like, I have no problem using somebody's pronouns, but the problem with this is that when it is written word, when it is written down, you're talking about Fadeaway. Are you talking about a group called Fadeaway? Are you trying to talk about an individual that has the name Fadeaway, that has the pronouns they/them? But regardless, we see the two, they battle. Fadeaway appearing to have significant power, but while Fadeaway gets its power from the cloak, Blue Beetle wearing this suit, Jaime is the suit. With Blue Beetle getting the upper hand, we see Fadeaway do exactly what its name would entail. With Fadeaway disappearing, Jaime goes to check his phone. This is when he recognizes that he has 33 missed calls. And that is because it is graduation day. Cutting over to the graduation field, there's an entire page in Spanish, so I couldn't even begin to tell you what they are talking about. Granted, my last name is Buendia, which means good day in Spanish. My family comes from Spain, but we have lived in America for generations. And so speaking Spanish in my family is mostly non-existent. And while I probably should learn Spanish, I know there are a lot of people out there that don't necessarily have to learn Spanish. They don't need to learn Spanish. There's no reason for them to learn Spanish. So there would have been nice to have a little bit of translations for this page, just so everybody can actually read what is happening. But from the context, it's just his parents, Blue Beetle's parents, more or less crying at the fact that their son is growing up, he's graduating, he's becoming something more. That's when Jaime arrives. Arriving late, getting his gown on, getting into the crowd. This is when he gets some kind of vision. A vision from the Reach. Not understanding what is going on. When his name is called for him to walk and get his diploma, he goes the opposite direction. He hightails it out of here. The suit kind of taking over, and he takes off to the sky. He takes off up into space, acquiring the signal that had been picked up. There is something waiting. There is something that is about to come. It is the past. The Reach has returned. Not knowing why, not knowing for what. With Jaime not really sure what he just saw. As he tries to talk to its suit, he is speaking in Reach. And so Jaime has no idea what he is saying. But returning home later that evening, the suit going back into its regular form, him having his regular form back, going inside, that is where he meets up with his parents and they are having a graduation party. But everybody is curious on what is going on, why he left graduation in such a hastily way, not having the opportunity to speak. This is where we see Superman. Superman coming in, having a conversation with Jaime's mother, but letting Jaime know that they need to have a conversation outside. First of all, he is thanking him for all of his assistance during Dark Crisis and whatever happens on Lazarus Planet, a comic that is yet to come. Letting him know that he is also here because this is his graduation day. This is a huge milestone, and Superman is asking, what do you have planned for your future? Jaime wishing everybody would just stop asking that. For so long, all he ever wanted to do was survive. The future has been the last thing on his mind. But he feels like he is falling behind, that he couldn't cut it with the Justice League, that he can't even take down Fadeaway. Plus, all of his friends are now going off to college, and he is not. At this point, he truly does feel like he has no direction. And even after all of this, Superman goes ahead and he lets him know, like, all of that sucks, I'm sorry to hear that, and don't take this personally, but we're grounding you. Members of the Justice League, they believe that it is time for him to take a break. Now that they understand the Reach is coming, that they are returning, they intercepted a Reach broadcast. They are currently working to make sense of what is happening, but right now they believe that with his connection to the Reach, he should be laying low. This only makes Jaime feel worse, because if anybody has any kind of understanding when it comes to the Reach, it would be him and his suit. With Superman flying off, getting in contact with Batman trying to figure out what is happening. Batman says that it was necessary to ground him, that this appears to be an invasion force, one that they are not ready for, that they need to be prepared. And right now that means keeping Jaime off the board and keeping their eyes on him. So maybe, just maybe, they think that Blue Beetle could become a threat, an inside sleeper agent this whole time. But with Jaime going back inside, he goes to open up all of his gifts, and what he finds are towels, toilet papers, pillows, everything that he is going to need to move. Because his parents, like any Hispanic family, the fact that he is not going to college, now that he has graduated high school, it is time for him to go get a job. Now, I don't think this is fair to Jaime. You know, regular Hispanic families, I get that. But he is freaking Blue Beetle, the guy who has saved the god-forsaken world multiple times. He has been there fighting alongside the Justice League. But I get what they're going for. This conversation is quickly interrupted when we are taken to El Salvador. There is some kind of attack. The streets are filled with chaos, with it being live streamed across the globe. This is where Jaime sees it. He sees Yellow Beetle. And that will be the end of this issue. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Like I said, it's a relatively good comic. I love that we have Jaime Reyes, a Hispanic superhero from Texas. You know, being Texas born, living my life in California for a good time, but then moving back to Texas. It's nice to see that representation. Even if I don't speak Spanish myself, I do have great appreciation for my heritage and for my roots. My family originating from Spain back in the 1400s when they fled because they were Jews, and at the time, Catholicism ran Spain. So my family had been shipped off, many of us landing in the Philippines and Mexico, eventually making our way to Texas. But like I said, I don't speak Spanish, which makes some of these pages very difficult to understand. You know, I do know some words here and there, but for the most part, it's completely just gibberish to me, and I don't understand why we don't translate. If you want this to be inclusive, if you want everybody to feel like they can come to this comic and they can read it, at the very least you could do is add in some translation, or just say translated from Spanish. Because let's be honest, most comic book readers are American. Most comic book readers don't speak Spanish, statistically speaking. And so I feel like by doing this, you are hugely isolating a huge majority of your readers. But with that being said, I do enjoy this story. I think it has a lot of potential, probably one of the better stories coming from DC Comics right now. Now, if you checked out my Dark Crisis video that I just posted, you'll hear me go on a long rant about how Dark Crisis has just been a total flop for me. It's had some good moments, but for the most part, it just has not been great. So it is refreshing to get something new, some Blue Beetle in here to see what they're gonna do with him and how this is going to play its part moving forward. So let me know your thoughts, let me know your theories. If you would like to get caught up on all recent DC Comics content, be sure to check out the link in my description as well as the top of this video. It is gonna get you completely caught up on everything that is currently ongoing with DC Comics. If you would like to support the channel, you can always do so by joining the channel membership, much like Patreon having 5 different tiers, from $1 to $50, from loyalty badges to getting free comics every single month. Not only are you helping out the channel tremendously, but you are getting tons of perks in the process. Now, if you are unable to do this, do me a favor, subscribe to the channel, like this video, hit that notification bell, and with that being said, until the next breakdown.